What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chantal. I am a spiritual life coach, and I'm so happy to have you back here again. So today I want to talk to you guys about why our minds work the way that they do and how it kind of can intertwine with universal laws in spiritual growth. This is one of my favorite topics ever, is really just combining and coming full circle with the understanding of how laws of the universe work, how spirituality works, and how to prove that with actual physics and science. It's my favorite thing ever. So today I want to talk a little bit about the subconscious mind, and this also works with the law of attraction to keep in mind. And it's really about, the law of attraction talks about what you think about comes about, right? And there's some problems with this. With people, because this is a very popular law of the universe, and there are many that begin here and can get kind of trapped in it because we're kind of forgetting about a bunch of other universal laws, such as the law of vibration, which is probably my favorite. But the problem with that is many people can think that, I just have to think about being on a beach in Mexico all the damn time and it's gonna happen. That's not the case. There's the law of vibration, there's the law of aligned action. There is a lot of things that kind of play into this, but just keep this law in mind because it helps you to kind of understand what this science also relates to. So why do we think the way that we think, right? Just why? Why is it so difficult to, be happy sometimes? When you are in a negative place, maybe you're just beginning your spiritual journey, or you're just along the road for it, and you find it so difficult to just try to be happy all of the time. And we don't have to try to be happy all of the time. That's besides the point necessarily. It's not like a chore. It's not like this thing that you have to do and not feel your emotions along the way. There are times for negative emotions. There are times for energetic release. But sometimes we find ourselves falling into the same habitual thoughts, same negative habitual thoughts. Say it's about our confidence. Maybe we don't think we're confident enough. Maybe we don't think we're capable enough to achieve the things that we want to achieve. Maybe we keep telling ourselves that we are bad negotiators, that we are procrastinators, that we aren't smart, that we aren't beautiful, that we are not driven or motivated. These common things that come up in our brains all of the time, this is specifically what I'm talking about here. And when we feed ourselves an emotion so many times in our brain, and this can start from when we are children, right? This could be something that is not even our truth. It's something that we picked up as children from our parents, our grandparents, whoever we grew up around, right? And they thought this way. They thought, that money's hard to come by and that it's really difficult to make money. You have to work your ass off. You have to be miserable. This is a really common belief that comes with money. And so this is a belief that has just been projected onto you without you even thinking about it. Because once you're told something so often, your body and your nervous system, once it considers it a truth, once it accepts it as a truth in your life, this is when it gets stored into the nervous system. This is when it gets stored into this automatic nervous system that we have, the subconscious mind. At this point, it isn't something we have to debate about. It isn't something that we have to think about anymore. It's just a way of living. It's just a way of being. It's just the way the world is and how we see the world and how we see ourselves. Now, when we accept that as a truth, that's what's happening. We begin living our life based off that, not noticing because it's stored deep in the subconscious mind, deep in the automatic mind. We become addicted to the emotions that this feeds us. Maybe it's pity. Maybe it's exhaustion. a lot of the times nowadays it has to do with stress, because maybe this belief has fed you stress because you're stressing about your bills, because you're stressing about rent and this thing you gotta do and this thing you gotta pay and this thing that you can't do and the presents you gotta buy for Christmas and whatever it is. It could be related to an emotion of stress, and we're going to go with that because it's very popular. It's very common. When you feed your mind this emotion so many times, it does the same thing. These things called neuropeptides come up in the brain because you're thinking this emotion, you're thinking this thing that you're stressed out, and so because of that, neuropeptides come up in your brain, and, well, they're already in there, but they spark up, and they give you the emotions that signify stress. They give you what you're looking for. You are thinking that this is going to be stressful. You're like, this is going to be a stressful situation. Neuropeptides come up and make it be so, make you feel stressed out. And so once you feel stressed out, you keep thinking you're stressed out. You keep thinking about the things that stress you out because it's just this circle of events that's going on in your mind. And like I said, once you accept it in a truth, that circle of emotions, this circle of thoughts just gets stored into your automatic nervous system and becomes a subconscious way of being. And this is how we get addicted to emotions in our body. And this is how we bring about what we think about. Because it's not only a universal law based off energy, based off quantum physics, based off of just how Mother Earth works and just how manifestation works. This is true. But it also ties together with science. It also ties together with how our mind works. Because, like I said, when we feed ourselves this thought produces in your brain an emotion to spark. That emotion sparks more thoughts, which sparks more emotions, which sparks more thoughts, and it becomes this wheel. And then it gets stored as a truth and a part of your subconscious way of being. And that's very hard to get in and rewire. But there are lots of ways that we will talk about in my Divine Aligned course that starts in February. I'll link it in the description below if you'd like to sign up. And then the wheel begins all over again, right? But we can attribute a positive emotion in here. We can do just the same thing because our mind does get addicted to its emotions because of this. It's like when you are not feeling yourself stressed, when you have been for the past 10 years, it's like a drug. It's literally like a drug. It's like sugar. It's like anything. This is why it's so hard to pull yourself out of depression, right? It's like you want to not be depressed anymore, but at the same time you don't want to. Like, you would rather still be depressed because that's where your comfort zone is. Your comfort zone in your nervous system is so used to stress that it's comfortable there. It doesn't know how to feel other emotions or what's going to happen when it feels other emotions. And that's why it's hard to pull yourself out of this. This is how we get addicted to our emotions. But I want you to think about this in reversal. Because when you give yourself a positive thought, that you are wealthy, we're sticking to money here, but it could be anything, that you are wealthy, that money flows to you effortlessly, opportunities are always on the way to you, and you are so inspired and motivated to take action upon them when they're aligned to you, whatever it is that you want to say, you spark that thought in your brain, and then neuropeptides come in and gives you the significant emotions and feelings that would make you feel like, that are associated with that belief, with that thought, and the wheel begins again. And because you've fed yourself those emotions, because you're feeling this way, it sparks more thoughts of wealth and opportunity and motivation, and that keeps continuing. Therefore, more feelings of wealth and motivation and inspiration and all these things that spark more thoughts and more emotions and feelings and more thoughts and more emotions and more feelings. And you get on this train that I would like to also call emotional intelligence, being aware that this is happening when it is, that brings about what you think about. That brings about what you think about. That brings about what you think about. Because when you are thinking these things, we have to understand that we are powerful, magnetic, energetic beings. And every thought that we think it sparks the emotion, but the emotion is what is most powerful. That has the most emotional charge, electric, magnetic charge. It's actually bringing those familiar energies and frequencies to you that have to do with wealth, that have to do with inspiration, that are in your divine aligned field, that will magnetize to you when you feel the feelings. So you can't just tell yourself over and over and over again, like write down, there's like this thing that people do, like they write down something 55 times, 5 times a day for 5 days or something like that, or it's something like this. And they write the things that they want to believe, and they think that, and I used to as well, that the more that you tell yourself these things or write these things, the more you're going to actually believe them. Sooner or later, your subconscious will have no choice but to believe it. And this simply isn't true. It's simply not true. It's not about writing it. It's not about saying it. It's not about thinking it. You have to believe it. You have to feel it. Because if you spark a thought that you don't actually believe, it won't accept this into your nervous system. You can't feel the feelings of inspiration and motivation and all these things when you spark a thought, and that's it. You're feeling depressed at the same time, and you're feeling like you're telling yourself lies, and you're feeling like a piece of shit while you're saying, I am wealthy, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am all these quotes that are going on around it nowadays. If it's an empty thought that is not sparked by any emotion, like I said, the emotion, the feeling is the most powerful electric charge. This is why pure gratitude, pure, true gratitude, not just being like, I'm grateful for this and this and this and this and this every day, never changing it up, never putting any real conscious thought into it, just doing the most cliche things, is not going to spark any gratitude or emotion within you. This is a good practice to do, though. Stating your gratefulness, but changing it up all the time, and maybe having to put a bunch of stuff out there so that you actually have to consciously think about it and feel the emotions that come with gratitude. But when you can spark true gratitude, this is when you can further accept those emotions into your life. This is when you can, the feelings of gratitude is the feelings of everything. It's the feelings of abundance in all forms and all ways. Because when you're grateful for every single thing, you can really feel the emotion behind that. It's not something you're just trying to convince yourself. It's true gratitude. So that's why gratitude is very important for that. And that could be a totally separate video. And I realized I totally just went out on a rampage off all of this very quickly. But I hope that has sank in for you in some sort of way. This is something that I have been studying upon for a long time. But right now I'm reading a book called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it really just hit home for me, and I wanted to transmute it into my own relation of how I accepted it so that I can help people to also further understand it. So we dive deeper into this, like I said, in my self-guided 5-week journey called Divine Aligned. This is a 5-week course where we are diving inward instead of projecting what we see outward in our lives. We're coming back to the truth that is within our soul and within our spirit, no matter how scary. And this causes emotional healing, emotional trauma healing, inner child healing, being able to see ourselves outside of the outer world, outside of opinions, outside of judgments, outside of people, outside of social media, and to really dive into who we are at a core level, at a soul level, and to be comfortable with that, to be still, and to allow the guidance to be heard that is within us, and to feel comfort in that, to come back home to yourself. And I called it building a relationship with the soul. So if that's something you're interested in, like I said, I will also link that in the description below. But feel free to comment and tell me any takeaways that you've gotten from today, any comments, any experiences at all that you've had with this this topic in specifics. And also be sure to like it and subscribe it so that I can tune in with you and so you can tune in with me. I post videos like this that are similar to spiritual development, as well as just personal development. And if you want to tune in every week, then hit the subscribe button and I would love it. So have an awesome day, guys. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend.